This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. Between two-factor authentication, strong passwords, and a VPN, you try to be in control of how your info is protected. But many other places also have it, and they might not be as careful. That's why LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats. If your identity is stolen, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for 40% off. Terms apply.
My favorite thing about Shipt since I signed up for Target Circle 360? No price markups when I order same-day delivery from tons of local stores. Only a handful of alcohol retailers and items don't count. I won't lie, I've had too much fun being like, markups on groceries? Not in my fridge. Markups on pet food? Not for my DOG. Markups on tools, electronics, home goods, meds? Not in my house. Anyway, it's awesome. Order now at shipt.com/360. Terms apply.
Only Murders in the Building, Season 5.
The hit Hulu original is back.
The night Lester died, he was talking with this mobster.
Was he killed in a hit?
We need to go face to face with the mob.
Get ready for a season
Buongiorno, signore.
Oh, this is how I die.
you can't refuse.
You're gonna save the day, like you always do, by being smart, sharp, and almost always by mistake.
The Hulu original series, Only Murders in the Building, premieres September 9th. Streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus for bundled subscribers. Terms apply. New episodes Tuesdays.
Anyone can follow. It takes something special to be an original, which is why the 2025 Lincoln Navigator SUV arrives with new ways of surrounding you in luxury, including the ultra-wide 48-inch panoramic display and the multi-sensory Lincoln Rejuvenate experience. A true original never stops evolving. So meet the 2025 Navigator, the original that's all new and better than ever. Learn more at Lincoln.com. Lincoln and Navigator are trademarks of Ford or its affiliates.
Hello, Spotify listener! Was it a good idea to employ me, Claptrap, a lovable robot with an admittedly shrill voice, to tell you about the next great looter shooter, Borderlands 4? Of course not! But you are listening, and that's the sick truth of marketing. Behold! Marketing hypnosis! Borderlands 4! Borderlands 4! Borderlands 4! Buy it! Buy it! Succumb to the marketing!
Rated M for mature.
Hello to everyone out there listening. This is Ross Kenyon. I am the host of Reversing Climate Change. I want to tell you about two events coming up in the month of October and a little bit of November too, that I'll be at, that you should be at too if you can. One of them is in Seattle and one of them is in the open ocean. And that is intentionally provocative. Please continue listening. I recently started a role as an executive in residence at Maritime Blue, which is a fascinating strategic alliance dedicated to accelerating innovation in the blue economy. I'm working essentially to help commercialize ocean tech companies. It's one of the many things that I'm filling my time with right now. And I'm very excited to begin working more deeply with them moving forward. They actually have two amazing events coming up really soon. One is One Ocean Week 2025 in Seattle, October 20th through 26th. If you're listening to this show, presumably you care about a healthy ocean, you care about its ability to sustain life. Maritime Blue is gathering all of the innovators, researchers, startups, policymakers, artists, educators, and communities to accelerate solutions for a sustainable, inclusive maritime future. We need the ocean. We need it healthy. I think that's pretty well beyond dispute. And this is a great event. If you're going to be in Seattle, I'll be at a number of the events here and hope to see you there. And then additionally, the thing that I teased you with so cruelly is the One Ocean Expedition. There is a 3-masted sailing bark called the Stadsrad Lemkuhl that is sailing around the world right now to raise awareness about ocean health. It's essentially a diplomatic mission to the world, telling the world that we need to be caring about the oceans to a much greater extent than we are now. A big part of this mission is actually having people come sail on the ship. Sailing, any kind of ocean passage at this point, is not a common experience. We mostly just fly over the ocean at this point. If you do interact with it, it's probably pretty close to shore. It's just a different kind of experience. I think getting people out there on the ocean and having a tactile experience can be a really powerful way of connecting them and showing them that we need to take better care of the ocean. So I think this is just a great opportunity and a really smart initiative. I'm happy that it exists. Right after One Ocean Week in Seattle, the One Ocean Expedition is occurring. Maritime Blue put together this Seattle to San Francisco leg on the sailing expedition. So you'll be able to see the ship during One Ocean Week. And then if you would like to, you can buy passage on this ship, become a working member of the ship. And for a week, we will be sailing from Seattle to San Francisco. And I am a podcaster in residence, not to drop too many in residence titles at you this episode, but I'm going to be on the ship. I'm either going to be interviewing people there or taking notes to do a monologue show when I'm off and just try to process this experience because I love sailing literature. I've read enormous quantities of it. I've even had the great privilege of interviewing the legendary John Kretschmer. He's written some of the best sailing books. One of those shows that I was sort of amazed I was able to get him on to do, but I've never done it myself. All the sailing I've done has been littoral, close to the shore. It hasn't been deep water passage, no blue water sailing for me. And I've really been curious, like, would I actually like this or not? Is it going to scare the crap out of me being so far away from shore? Those waves certainly do look big. The North Pacific off the coast, I think, gets some pretty big waves. So I don't know. I'm curious about testing myself and learning about this. And I also just have a great deal of affection for things that are not as convenient as we've come to expect. I think in 2025, we basically expect everything to be streamed to us, to be immediately accessible. If it's not, we're really upset. You can order basically any product in the world. It'll be at your house soon. But I grew up primarily in the 90s, and my recollection of getting into basically anything back then was that if you wanted to explore a hobby, you had to look up what kind of hobby that was in the yellow pages or in an earlier, crappier version of the internet. And you would find out that 40 minutes from your home, there would be a strip mall run by one old man who was an expert on remote controlled aircraft. And you would have to convince your parents on their day off to take you to this weird place to learn about some expensive thing that they don't actually want to let you do. Is this a universal experience, or is this just mine? This might just be me who experienced this, but okay, here's a more relatable version of that. I like going to Blockbuster. I remember the ritual of trying to get there early enough on a Friday that the game that you wanted or the movie that you wanted would still be there. And then sometimes you would get there and Spaceballs would be gone. You'd be like, oh man, someone beat us to it. Or you would want to get the video game that had just come out that you didn't want to pay $60 to buy, and the Sega Genesis cartridge would already be gone. And now you could just play basically any game that's ever been made, even though they're just released. It'll download in not that much time to your device, and you have it there. And I don't know that we've always been made better for things being amazingly more accessible and immediate. I sort of liked the inconveniences. They didn't feel that fun at the time. It's only in hindsight. And so maybe I'm falling into my own nostalgia trap that I've criticized as recently as a few weeks ago on the podcast. But I like that about sailing. I like that in the idea of sailing, because I actually haven't done very much of it, as I've noted. But I also connected to something like bike touring. I'm going to do a show on bike touring soon because I've done several bike tours, and I love them. I think they're wonderful ways to travel for so many reasons. I think it intersects with climate in ways beyond the obvious low emission transport angle. I think that's pretty obvious. But one thing that I like that connects sailing and cycling is that you have to be aware of your surroundings in a much more observational way than you are when you're just driving. When you're in some sort of enclosed capsule on a road that's often pretty straight, and your job is just to stay in your lane. Enjoy the audiobook that you're listening to and stay in your lane. Of course, there's lots of danger and things that you need to pay attention to, but I often find that biking is moving at just the right speed that allows you to cover a lot of ground, but you're still paying quite a lot of attention to where you are. And you have to be much more aware of things like the weather and traffic and how things feel. Where in a car, you're pretty isolated. From what I understand about sailing, it's a lot like that too. I think one of the issues that humanity, especially humans in the global north, have been feeling and dealing with is that they're disconnected from their bodies, they're disconnected from their feelings. And moving in this way, I think, is a great reminder of how disconnected we are from actual experience. We intellectualize, but we don't feel. When we do feel, that's just a distraction from the podcast we'd rather be listening to. Again, is this me or is this everyone? It might just be me. I think one thing that's humanizing about this is being able to say, I am also working on this. And this is one of the reasons why I'm so excited to be going on the One Ocean expedition on the Seattle to San Francisco leg, because I'm trying to find more opportunities to fine-tune these skills and to become more aware of my environment and just be a more present, happier, observational person. And I think things like this are a good way to do that. Moreover, it's a highly cinematic way to do that. How often do you get to make an offshore passage on a 111-year-old sailing vessel? Not often. I've actually never been offered this before. So I'm really looking forward to it. You can join too. If you'd like to come along, you can. There's a link in the show notes that has pricing information and dates and has everything that you would want to know about how to actually do this. If you've been looking for a chance to get some sailing experience, this seems like a really fun way to do so. Or at least I've judged it by my lights to be that. I'm really looking forward to it. If you'd like to sail on the Stadsrad Lemkool, you want to hang out with me on an old wooden sailing vessel, the link is in the show notes. Come check it out. I hope you will. If nothing else, if you're in the area, very much want to see you at One Ocean Week 2025. Come say hello and let's hang out and let's just drive the brain power that we can into making the ocean a regenerative economy. Thanks for listening. I hope to see you out there.